What is up, guys, and welcome back into a brand new Rams House video. You guys know how much I hate losing to a team like the 49ers, to a team who is a divisional rival. This rivalry is really beginning to heat up, and a team who's won 7 in a row versus us in the regular season. This was just a really tough one to watch, a really ugly game, so let's just break it down. When you look at the Rams offense, the first drive, it really looked like it had some promise. You know, we got the ball to start the game. It felt like, okay, this is our time to make a statement versus them, get out to an early lead. And yeah, we did get a field goal on the first drive, but it just felt like there was more to be desired on that drive. We had some good plays strung together. It felt like we were going to get in the end zone and we were stopped. We just had to settle for a field goal. And that was really a recurring theme for this game. If the Rams were having a good offensive drive, we just stalled out for whatever reason in the red zone or near the red zone and had to settle for a field goal. And if you just kick field goals in a game, you're not going to win the game most of the times in the NFL, especially with how many points teams put up in the NFL nowadays. I think if we put up even 1 to 2 touchdowns in this game, it would have been a completely different flow of the game, and we probably could have won it. I talked about it coming into this game versus the 49ers with how dominant this 49ers defense is and how dominant that pass rush is, and they've really been able to figure out, even over the past couple of years, how to get into Matthew Stafford's face and really affect the game. And with how many starters and how many players were missing on the offensive line coming into the game, that was a big concern for me. And then we lost our second string center, Coleman Shelton, who has actually been playing really good. It just was not looking good from there. It was really bleak. The 49ers were smart in drawing up those complex stunt plays, those blitz plays on Matthew Stafford. It really got in his face. And our offense, you know, on some plays, I'll give him credit. They were creative and they were diverse and they were getting some different players involved. But for a majority of the game, it was just Tyler Higbee and Cooper Kupp that Matthew Stafford was targeting. We really weren't getting Allen Robinson involved, and we weren't really able to do a lot on the offensive side of the football. I didn't think coming into this game that we're going to be able to run the football, and we really weren't able to run the football very effectively versus this 49ers pass rush and versus this 49ers front. So it really fell on the shoulders of Matthew Stafford and how he would play, and also how the offensive line would play versus this front, and they did not play good. Matthew Stafford got sacked 7 times, and he was getting hurried basically every single snap. There was just not much time for Matthew Stafford to work with. The ball was either going to Cooper Kupp or it was going to Tyler Higbee, and it just really didn't feel like this offense really got off the ground. And it's very hard to do that when the pass rush is in your face all the time, like Matthew Stafford was dealing with. It was a big concern coming to this game. Give credit to the 49ers. They had a good game plan versus us as expected, but it just felt like there wasn't really much contingency plans that Sean McVay had instilled before the game, knowing what the 49ers have been able to do versus us in the past with a healthy offensive line, and then coming into this game now with more of a beat-up offensive line. It felt very eerie to the Bills game in the first game of the regular season this year, where there was all the pressure in Matthew Stafford's face all day, and the only answer that we had was throwing it to Cooper Kupp, which I understand, get your best player involved on the offense, but it just felt like there wasn't much of an intentionality of giving everybody the ball, getting everybody involved, utilizing those super quick passes, and there were just some plays where it just felt like we were just spamming Cooper Kupp. We saw it near the end of the game when we just threw it on a screen to Cooper Kupp, and we had already done that play a few times. Talanoa Hufanga took it back to the house, pick 6. It was just very predictable play calling, and it just felt like it felt like we were watching the Bills game all over again. And then when you head over to the defense, this is something that was just very frustrating to watch, because it was something I noted heading into this game that we shouldn't do with the bend but don't break type of defense, where we play a 10 to 15 yard cushion off of the wide receivers. We've done this in games past. I just don't think it's a very good formula versus the 49ers when you're playing a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not going to test you deep, who's not a quarterback who can make all the throws, who's very streaky, and if you get pressure in his face or if you force him into man-to-man coverage, a lot of the times he's going to make mistakes. So heading into this game, I was like, guys, we have to be able to play aggressive. We have to get in Garoppolo's face. We have to press their receivers and just hope, you know, we're going to have some lapses here and there, but hope that we're going to be able to win those matchups, because Garoppolo will make a mistake. If you give him the 10 to 15 yard cushion off of the line of scrimmage for the receivers, that is already their game. They love the quick slants. They love the underneath stuff, because that is the way that their offense is designed, is to run the football and get the ball into the hands of their playmakers who, after the catch, they're very dynamic, like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. That is what they do. And I was just very uninspired by this defensive effort, because it just feels very copy-paste from weeks past, where let's not let up the big plays, but ironically, we let up the big plays because we let them get to underneath stuff and break the tackles, get down the field. And I was just very frustrated to see that because it's just Garoppolo, he's not an X Factor quarterback. He's not a quarterback who's top 10, probably not even top 15 in this league. We've all seen it. If you can get pressure, or if you have some sticky coverage on his wide receivers, or at least try to do that, he's not going to perform well. And so I was just very uninspired by that effort by Raheem Morris, and very surprised we didn't even make adjustments in game. I will say that I was very impressed with the run defense with the Rams. I could feel Bobby Wagner's presence, especially on that goal line run that they tried to get late in the game. Just came in there and stuffed that run. And so I was impressed with our run defense. It looked better than it has against the 49ers in years past. That was very, very encouraging. But if you're going to stop the run, you got to stop the pass. And it just felt like there wasn't that good of an effort to be able to stop them. And we have playmakers to be able to do it, but we just didn't end up coming through and doing that. I just want to see a time where the Rams play Jimmy Garoppolo aggressively. They play him physically, get in his face, and press their receivers, because everybody, like, I hear this narrative that Jimmy Garoppolo goes Tom Brady mode when he plays the Rams, and I just personally disagree with that. It's just basically scheme-wise, 49ers have a good scheme, but we don't do anything to counter it. It's just like we're letting them do it. If you go back to 2020, when we had Brandon Staley as our defensive coordinator, we had the #1 defense, and we still lost to the 49ers both times. We got swept by them. Back to 2020, when we had Brandon Staley as our defensive coordinator and we had the #1 defense, we still got swept by the 49ers, no doubt, but it didn't feel as much of it was on the defense or we were really helping them. I felt that we played them really, really well with Brandon Staley, or at least better than we are now. But it was more of Jared Goff and the offense not really being able to figure it out. We were kind of in that awkward period with Jared Goff where he just was not able to do anything to be elite, and he wasn't able to put up a ton of points in a game. And so it felt more like it was on the shoulders of the offense. And you could argue that with this game for sure. We only put up 9 points. That's just pathetic. But my point is, like, we didn't really do the offense any favors with doing the defensive style that we did, because it just kind of played in the hands of Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers. So at the end of the day, I just hope that next time, or eventually when we play the 49ers and Jimmy Garoppolo, we're aggressive, we're physical, and we're saying, okay, I'm putting my corner on your wide receiver one-on-one, and I'm pressing most of the time. Jimmy Garoppolo, make a play on this. That is what I want to see in the future. Let me know what you want to see and what you thought of this game. I appreciate you watching this video. Drop a like and subscribe to Rams House if you do like Rams content. But that's going to do it for me. Thank you guys for stopping in. Horns up and God bless.